Hunger in Massachusetts is an urgent problem that's on the rise. 1 in 3 Massachusetts households reported food insecurity in 2024. That's about 2 million adults. Last week, as part of our annual Day of Giving for the Greater Boston Food Bank, we shared stories of hope and help. NewsCenter 5's Jennifer Penate with how mobile markets are offering fresh produce and other essentials to people in need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Each month, comfort Kasali and her 4 little ones,
Hi, thank you.
13, 11, 9, and 2,
Good afternoon. Yeah.
look forward to discovering what foods they will find at their local mobile food market in Lawrence.
They asked me, oh, what do you think they're going to give us this month? And I'll be like, oh, I don't know. It's a surprise. So when we get there, you see what they have, then we'll work with everything they have, which it's always amazing because everything they give is beautiful.
The Kasalis are just one of 300 families of all backgrounds lining up for hours to benefit from this market.
But everything is so fresh. I mean, I like to mix like the potato into mashed potato and add it with the broccoli for my baby.
It's tailored specifically to parents and students of the Lawrence School District. And the only one offered all summer long when kids lose access to school lunches.
We see the same families coming in, and they know us by name now, so they're our families.
1 in 3 kids in Massachusetts experience food insecurity. This partnership with the Greater Boston Food Bank helps add a boost of meals and nutrition while acknowledging culture.
Fresh produce, like you'll see kale, you'll see mangoes, but culturally relevant foods as well. We were talking earlier about plantains that we do get sometimes during the year.
Families often receive 60 to 70 pounds of fresh food, giving kids healthy options when they're out of school. Monetary and food donations make this all possible, ensuring kids get the meals they deserve before heading back to school.
Nutritious foods, culturally appropriate food, and also protein and dairy is an important part of a healthy diet.
ESL teacher and mobile market longtime volunteer Patricia Flynn sees the impact it makes firsthand.
It does make a difference if they could just have like an apple or a banana or some Cheerios or something just to get them throughout the day.
Families like the Kasalis grateful for the gift of giving.
I make sure that my kid understand the part that whenever we're online, you have to learn to use the word thank you. You say good afternoon, or if it's morning, then you say thank you, because you need to let them know that they are appreciated.
And you can still support our Day of Giving campaign with a donation online at wcvb.com/GBFB. And if someone you know needs food, there are resources for that as well at gbfb.org/needfood. Now, food insecurity stands to worsen with some of the latest federal policy changes. Massachusetts is preparing for changes in SNAP food benefits, Medicaid, and Mass Health. Now, a coalition of leaders statewide has been convening since February to discuss how to respond to these challenges. And joining us now is Marty Martinez. He's the Anson president and CEO of the United Way of Mass Bay. Welcome. How are you, Marty?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about who's involved in the meetings and what are the key issues being addressed.
Yeah, I mean, we're very involved with a coalition of folks who are coming together to try to understand how do we respond to some of the federal challenges that are coming out, how do we organize and support organizations, but how do we find long-term solutions to some of the challenges that are here. It's really about responding now, but thinking long-term.
Now, many of the changes that are coming about are as a result of the administration's big, beautiful bill. What are the changes that concern you the most?
Yeah, I think the changes that concern me the most in the work of the United Way is really, changing access to benefits, changing access to Medicaid, changing access for folks who maybe had the opportunity to work but aren't going to be able to work any longer in our community. Really changing the ability for people to help their families thrive. I mean, those are the changes in the bill that in the details of it will make it harder to be successful in our community.
Now, it's likely that the immigrant community is going to be most disproportionately impacted by some of the changes. What's the message to them about these benefits?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest message is that we want to separate fact from fiction, right? We actually really want to make sure people understand what's real and what's happening. And we want to make sure people know that the community organizations are still here to support immigrants. They're here to not only support them, but help them navigate the changes in benefits, navigate the changes that they're experiencing, but also strengthen services still. You got to do both. We got to both focus on the immediate, but also focus on what's still to come. And that's really our message, that this is a community that welcomes you. Our elected leaders, our community welcomes you, and we want to make sure you're supported to be able to get the needs that you need met.
Now, you use the word navigate.
Right.
You navigated unprecedented times in one of your previous roles as the Chief of Health and Human Services for the City of Boston, a role you held during the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah. So how has that helped you to step into this role at the United Way?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, being the HHS chief for the City of Boston during COVID showed me all the challenges, but it also showed me a lot about moving with urgency, using data, and it also showed me the best of what it means to be in Boston and Massachusetts, to be honest with you. And so that's what we're taking now. How do we mobilize and organize, but how do we move quickly and to think about the emerging needs that people have, but also working together to make investments and support the community. COVID taught us we can do it, and we're sort of in that same place.
Now, we've seen the elimination of many government jobs. How is that impacting some of the services that people rely on?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's for example, a federal cut to sort of have folks that are providing resources around utility assistance from the federal government, the LIHEAP support. It really does provide support directly, but when there's no staff, there's no one to administer dollars. And those dollars make the difference when people need to pay their heating bill, their utility bill. That really help families meet basic needs. And so when there's not people to do the work, the resources can't get out there, and we're seeing that in lots of places in federal government
And
right
people
now.
are now in a situation, or will be, where they have to pick between their heat, medicine, eating. Those are tough choices.
Absolutely. And do they take care of themselves, or maybe their children have needs that they're trying to take care of that then the family can't meet other needs that they have? So it's really trying to figure out in this moment, how do we get through it? And a lot of families are having to make some tough choices.
Now, we talked a lot about some of the issues that are facing the Commonwealth. Tell us what the United Way is doing to help the organizations that are slipping through the safety net.
Yeah, right now we are organizing. We are organizing, and we are trying to raise awareness by what's happening. We're also bringing together every other Friday network leaders from all across the state, elected leaders, policy leaders, small businesses, others. We also recently created the United Response Fund, a way to mobilize and raise resources to support organizations. Organizations need help today, but they also need long-term support to figure out how to navigate the complexities that are here. United Way is sort of built to do this work, and we're stepping up to make it happen right now.
So how much money have you raised so far?
Yeah.
And I think you just released some grants.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already invested $250,000 of resources ourselves, and we've raised another $350,000. Overall, we think we'll raise a couple $1 million to put out into the community. And we just recently invested $130,000 into collective impact for organizations working on immigration issues, English as a second language issues, and emergency assistance for families. And it's so vital that people have that today, and so we're doing that right now.
And why did you pick those target areas, those small nonprofits? I think the grants they received were probably $30,000 a piece. How is that going to help those agencies that received this first round of funding? And why did you pick those areas?
Yeah, we picked those areas because it came up through the agencies that we partner with. We support 150 different organizations all across Eastern Mass, and all of them are facing different challenges. But they're telling us if we work collectively, if we work together, we can navigate this challenge stronger than if we do it in isolation. So a small amount of investment helps them to be able to work collaboratively to figure out how to do it. One was supporting a collective of organizations in Lawrence, working together to support the community there. They know what they need to do, and we have resources to invest in them, and so that's how we pick some of them, and that's what we're trying to make.
Now, I know the United Way works very closely with nonprofits. What kind of advice are you offering to nonprofits to get through these times?
Yeah, my main advice is stay focused on what you're trying to get done. Right, our community needs it. Our community really needs you to be strong, but don't just focus on the crisis at hand. Also focus on how we get past it. The community needs us to think about the future as well as think about the moment we're in.
And so there's a lot of realigning and rethinking of how these services are going to be provided.
Absolutely. What's today may not be the same tomorrow, but the organizations and the ecosystem are so important that we have to do both. I know it's easier said than done, but these are leaders that have dedicated their work to community, and I know they can can do it, and we're here to support them.
All right, Marty Martinez, thank you so much for the work you do. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, carry on. And thanks to all of you for watching. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can follow me on X at Karen Holmes Ward. And you can watch our show on our very local app. It's free to download on your phone, tablet, or smart TV. Have a great afternoon, everyone.